We're going to start on our backs. And you can bend your knees. That's usually a little bit easier on the back, but do whatever feels good to you. Sometimes resting the knees together with the feet nice and wide kind of allows the lower back to spread open, and that could be comfortable. And some people, want to open their hips and come into this kind of cobbler pose. So straight leg is fine too. Just do whatever feels good. And if you can, it's always helpful to close your eyes. And we'll just start to feel the inner landscape of the body. Feeling all the sensations. And seeing where you might be able to relax a little more. Maybe it's in your face, or maybe it's in your mind. See if you're still churning over that last issue you were thinking about, and relax your mind. So it's helpful to let go of thoughts by replacing them with something else, and we can use the breath for that. We can just bring our mind so fully to the feeling of our breath that it blocks out the thinking mind. And the more deeply you breathe, the more you fill your mind with breath. See if you can imagine that the whole body is breathing. If you think you're breathing your fullest, deepest breath, see what happens if you breathe in even more. Imagine you're breathing down to your fingertips. And then without interrupting your breath, straighten your left leg and bring your right knee into your chest. Obviously, if you're injured and you can't bend your knee that much, you can just bring your hands behind the back of that thigh and just come as far as you can. And then we'll flex the left foot and press the left heel away from us as we press the left thigh down into the ground. And then you might feel the breath moving the belly out against that right thigh. And then when you exhale and the belly collapses back in, maybe the thigh comes with it a little. No forcing. Forcing is the opposite of flexibility. Can't force something and expect it to bend. Forcing breaks So you just feel how the exhalation creates that softening, and just let the body ease into it. And then go ahead and extend that right leg straight up in the air with your hands behind the back of the leg, and point and flex the foot, breathing in, breathing out. Circle the foot around at the ankle. Try to explore the fullest range of motion that you can, stretching the little muscles in the feet. Circle the other way. And then come to stillness in the flex position. And then push up through the foot, pressing the leg into the hands and the hands into the leg. And then as you exhale, you can either try to slide your hands up toward your foot. You can lift your head toward your knee. Let your elbows drop down. And keep reaching up through the heel and forward through the leg as you inhale deep and slow. And then as you exhale, draw your belly toward your spine. And then slowly lower your head down if you had it lifted. Keep the leg in the air. Bring the left hand to the outside of the right leg. Bring the right arm to the ground. And then we're going to guide that right leg over to the left without lifting the hip off the ground. Don't go so far that you're coming off the ground with your sacrum. So you want to be able to stretch that IT band, that outer right leg, and maybe a little bit of the outer hip. Turn your head to the right. Breathe all the way in and all the way out. And then we're going to bring that right leg down. Now, some of you may be able to bring the foot all the way to the floor without lifting the shoulder off the ground. Some of you might be able to bring your knee all the way to the floor. If your knee doesn't come to the floor, you can make a fist with your left hand and then just prop your right knee up on top of that fist so that you can keep your right shoulder on the ground. And then trace your breath, moving from your lower left side to your upper right side, or maybe that's not how it feels in your body. See what the pathway is for your breath inside this twist, revolve belly pose. If your knee comes all the way down, or if you have a free hand with your left hand, you can help stretch your lower back by bringing your left hand to the very top of your right thigh, just kind of where the crease is, and then pushing away from you with that hand. It's the breath that does the healing. So we get into the pose so that we can redirect the breath. And the more we experience the breath, the more we enliven it. The more you pay attention to something, the more energy you give it. And then if you're using your left hand, release it. We'll all roll back onto our back, and we'll bend both knees and bring the right ankle on top of the left thigh, just above the knee. And then we'll lift that left leg, bring the hands behind the back of the leg, and flex both feet. Bring your chin down toward your chest, keeping your neck long. And try to soften. Try to let that right leg be passive and just rest it into the left leg. And then when you exhale, see if you can move the left leg toward your face, pushing from the left foot. It's not a forcing, it's just feeling into the body's natural ability to relax as you exhale, and using that slack to move into the posture a little more if you can. But if you don't do the relaxation part, you're not going to get anywhere. Kind of like a metaphor for life. And then we'll release the right foot down. Release the left foot down. Take a moment here and just rest the knees against each other. Let the back neutralize for a moment. And then you can separate the knees, straighten the right leg, and bring the left knee in. Flex the right foot and really push it away from you. The left foot can relax, but there's maybe a sense of a tug of war where the left knee and the right foot are moving in opposite directions. And you might imagine or perhaps even feel the breath moving between the two ends of that war. It's not really a war, of course. There's no tension or struggle. There's just a sense of extending out as long as you can, like a dancer, through your right foot, and feeling the breath moving the left knee in the opposite direction. Left foot up, hands clasped behind the back of the leg, and point and flex. And circle. Reverse. And then hold the flex position. And in one motion, we're pushing up through the heel and pressing the leg into the hands. And you'll inhale. And then as you exhale, you might curl your head up. You might just lift your hands up. See if you can bend the elbows and let them hang down so that the weight of the hands is really heavy on the leg. Deeper breath equals deeper stretch. Okay, if your head is lifted, bring it down, please. Release the left arm down. Bring the right hand to the outside of the left leg and guide the leg over to the right, turning your head to the left. Go as far as you can go while still feeling your left low back on the ground. And then we'll take that leg all the way down to the ground on the right. And again, maybe the foot reaches, maybe you want to prop the knee and bend it a little. Maybe you can bring the knee all the way down to the ground and still keep the left shoulder down. And if your right hand is free and you want to stretch your lower back more, you bring your hand to the crease at the top of your left thigh and push away with your right hand. Stay connected to the breathing. And on an inhale, come up, both legs bent. Place the left ankle just above the right knee. And clasp your hands behind the back of the right leg. Flex the feet. Pull the chin in. Breathe deep and slow. And try to let your left leg be as passive as possible. feet down. Walk them a little wider. Rest the knees together. And then take one arm overhead and roll over onto that arm. Coming into seedling's pose. And then with the hand that's in front of you, press yourself up, keeping your head down till the very end. And then once you come up to sitting, just have the legs in front of us a bit. And we'll straighten the left leg and bring the right foot up into the left arm or elbow if you can. Hand comes around to whatever extent you can. If it looks like this, it looks like this. I don't care. You're rocking your baby. You don't get to say what your baby's going to look like. Just rock it. Okay. And then we're just going to let that foot come to rest for a moment. Reach the right hand over to wrap around the outside and bottom of the foot. Bring the left hand over onto the shin and sit up nice and tall. Inhale, take a breath, lifting through the crown of the head. Exhale, lift the foot up. And inhale, bring it down. I think it's better, my mistake, bring that left hand under. I think that would work better. Inhale, lift tall through the crown of the head. Exhale, lifting the foot. One more. And then go ahead and just bring that right foot down to the inside of the left leg. Flex your left foot nice and strong. Press your left thigh down and let your body come nice and tall. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, stay tall and long. Draw your belly in. Let your hands relax. Let your elbows drop. Let your shoulders drop. Let your forehead drop. Press your knee into the ground. And then as you inhale, feel the breath making length through your spine. And then slowly roll yourself up. You're going to take that right leg and cross it over the left leg. And let's all keep the left leg straight today. Even if you're able to bend it, let's keep it straight. And with our clasped hands, we're going to pull that right knee toward the left shoulder. Good. And then we'll release the right arm and reach up nice and tall. And feel the breath reaching up toward your fingertips. And then exhale and turn your belly. Bring the hand down behind you. And then keep your left hand kind of moving that right knee over to the left. Breathe nice and deep, getting taller on each inhale, getting softer and maybe turning a little more on the exhale. And inhale back to the front. Release the right leg straight. Bring the left foot in and start with the foot in the elbow or wherever it can go and rock the baby. See if you have a sense of gentleness about you when you're doing this. Maybe you've rocked a baby in your life. I know at least 4 of you have kids. So try to remember the tenderness with which you rocked your baby and see if you can bring that to your own body. Good. And then just let the foot rest down. We'll bring the right hand to the left shin and the left hand over the bottom of the foot. And don't forget this part where we inhale and we really kind of pull our head up toward the sky and then exhale and lift. And then when we come down with the foot, we lift up through the head and inhale, the spine tall, exhale, lift. 2 more. And then when you bring it down, bring it to the inside of your right leg. And go ahead and flex your right foot nice and strong, pushing out through the heel, down through the thigh. Inhale, lift up through the heart, the hands, and exhale. Stay reaching forward and stay long as you come over. And then hands relax, elbows drop down, almost like the armpits are drooping. Let go of the head even more. And then try to press the back of the knee into the ground and use that to spring off the earth with your torso getting longer as you breathe deeper. And roll yourself up. And then cross that left foot over the right leg. Hug the knee with your clasped hands and draw it toward your shoulder. And then as you pull the hands toward you, you can kind of use that as leverage to get taller through the spine. And then we'll release the left arm and reach it up. Inhale and get taller still. And then stay tall. Don't shrink as you lower the hand. Just turn. And then keep using that right hand to aim the knee toward the left shoulder. Inhaling all the way up to the collarbones. And then use an inhale to come back around to the front. And release the leg. Shake the legs out. And then bring the heels together, creating a square inside your legs. Pull the flesh of your buttocks back behind your sit bones. Inhale, arms up. Exhale over your legs. Let go of your arms. Let go of the back of your neck and let your head be heavy. Let go of your agenda. Just be here wherever you are. Probably feels tight, may feel intense, may feel great. I don't know. Whatever it is, just breathe deeply in and out and feel the sensation. Notice the relationship between the posture, the sensation, and the breath. And the mood that you bring to it, the attitude that you're holding. Do you feel bored? Do you feel restless? Do you feel relaxed? Do you feel curious? Just see what the mind is doing with this moment. And then walk the hands over to the right. That right hand will push into the ground. So I'm on my fingertips. That may serve you as well. If not, do it your way. Pushing that left hip as back as you can. And then walking that left hand as far out as you can. And then breathing into that stretch as deep as you can. And then let go of both hands and just let the body be limp here for a few breaths. And then come up and over to the other side. Starting with the left hand pushing the right hip back and the right arm reaching out. Modifying any way that you need to for it to feel good for you. And then relax the arms and just let the body hang here like a rag doll or a puppet without your hand in it. And then come center and roll yourself up. And then cross the ankles, flip over the feet, come to hands and knees. Make sure your hands are lined up right under your shoulders. Your knees are right under your hips. The weight of your arm bones strongly sinking into the ground. The leg bones rooting down. And then we're just going to move the body in a non-specific way. So I want you to just close your eyes and kind of just move the spine any way that it would feel good to you. Kind of feeling where the kinks are, feeling where the breath is. And then make sure you get a little bit of up and down motion in the spine. Make sure you get a little side to side, but it doesn't have to be strictly side to side, so it can be kind of creative here. Good. And come back to center. We're going to move the hands over to the left. Step the right foot up. And we're going to come up, and we're not going to do a deep lunge. So we're just going to keep that right knee over the right ankle, and then just bring your hips forward. And kind of pull up out of your pelvis. See if you can lengthen up through the psoas. So that the hips are kind of going like this. They're going forward, but they're also trying to go under. Just let the breath nourish you here. Okay, bring the hands down. Bring the right leg back. Hands come over to the right. And we'll step the left foot up. Good. So the left leg is kind of almost just at a right angle. And then we just lean forward into it and try to tuck the tailbone and the hips under. And then think about lifting up, pulling up. Abs pull up, head lifts up. Stay with your breath. Okay, bring the hands down. So we're going to do a nice pose for the low back. It's called TV watching pose. I don't think we've done it in years. So you're going to come down as though we're going to be in Sphinx. And then we're going to just bring the elbows forward and rest our cheeks on our hands. And then let your feet relax. So, like for me, my feet relax by turning out. Kelly's relax by turning in. It's fine. Everybody's hips are more comfortable in a different way, but you want to kind of just let go of the legs and let them kind of go. Yeah. And then just let your belly sink into the ground. You can do this for like a few minutes every hour. Maybe not at work, but once you get home. And it just signals to those muscles in the arch of your back that they can let go. Okay. And then we'll bring the hands down, stack them, and rest the forehead on the hands. And we'll take a half frog, bringing the left knee out to the side, bending at the knee 90 degrees, and then bring the arms out also 90 degrees, and the forehead down. And then if you want to make this stretch a little bit deeper, you try to bring your left buttock toward the floor. Okay, bring the hands in, rest them under the forehead, bring that left leg in, bring the right leg out to the side, and then take the arms, resting on the forehead. And just like the other side, the more you lower that front right hip, the more you'll feel the stretch. And then lift your head, bring your hands under your forehead, bring your leg in again. And then bring the head off the forehead. Bring the hands in front of you. Press into the hands. And see about how far you can come up without hurting your back. You really want to have your pubic bone down on the ground. And then you want to try to aim your tailbone for your heels. So you don't want to go higher than is comfortable. This is not one of those postures where you say, yeah, it's uncomfortable, but I'm going to just stick it out. And then see if you can roll the shoulders down. See if you can breathe the front of the ribs wider. And then bring the hands in as you simultaneously lift the hips. And we'll come into mecha pose, sitting on the heels, folding forward, arms overhead, head down. If your forehead doesn't reach the floor, you don't have to have your arms overhead. You can just stack your hands and let your forehead rest on them. If your arms are overhead, you can push forward through your fingers and see if you can feel your side body lengthen, right and left, stretching the shoulders, breathing into the back of the body. So every time we compress the front of the body, we're basically forcing the air to stretch our backs. And then walk it over to the right, stretching out long through that left arm, pushing into the right arm or hand. This is a posture where I feel like you can really notice the effects of the breath, making space and kind of excavating whatever tensions are built up on that left side. And then with your breath over to the other side. Pressing into the left hand, breathing into the right side. And then come center. You'll tuck your chin, lift your hips, and rest on the crown of your head. And then clasp your hands behind your back and try to straighten your arms and lift your hands and roll the shoulder blades in and down. Breathing in and out. And then release the hands. We'll move it into rabbit pose. Really nice deep stretch on the back. So we're going to tuck the head even more and bring it as close to the knees as possible. The arms are going to be around the outside of the thighs. You'll turn the palms out away from each other. And then see if you can wrap your hands around your heels. And if you don't, then just hold on somewhere. The key is to really be holding on. And also to have your head tucked so much that you're not even on the top of your head. You're almost on the back of your head. And then holding on, lift your hips as high as they'll go. And then feel how the breath really spreads into the low back. Release the hands. Lay your buttocks down on your heels and just come into child's pose for a moment. And again, if the forehead does not rest on the ground, and you would like to give it a couple of hands or fists, that's a great idea. Arms otherwise fold alongside the body. You can just kind of let them hang down, just signaling the absence of effort here. And then bring the hands under the shoulders. Keep the chin tucked as you press yourself up slowly. And then come off the feet onto your back. And just hug the knees into the chest. And then maybe rock a little bit, massaging the back. Just find wherever it feels good. There's no pattern to follow. There's no right way or wrong way. And then whenever you're ready, you can just rest your feet down, lift your hips and tuck them under, and release the legs and shake them out. You can put your eye pillow on your eyes if you're using one, and let your arms rest out to the side. And we'll take a deep breath in through the nose, exhaling out of the mouth, releasing the body into the ground. Inhale deep. Exhale out of the mouth, releasing the jaw, letting the lips part. Inhale deep. Exhale out of the mouth, letting go of the activity of the mind. So noticing any tendency the mind has for chatter or fantasy or memory, and just let it go, focusing all of your energy on your breathing. And the breathing is, you're letting go of that as well. You're not needing to make the breath happen. You can, but practice not breathing and just being breathed. Letting go. Letting go. Letting go. breathe into your heart. Move fingers and toes. And reach the arms overhead. Take a deep breath, stretch long. Hug the knees to the chest, rocking side to side. Once again, massaging your back and really keeping your attention on the feel of that massage. And then when you're ready, come center, rub hand to hand and foot to foot. Roll onto your side, resting your head on your arm, resting your body on the ground. Resting in the feeling of this moment, all the joys and all the sorrows and everything in between. And then slowly press yourself up to sitting. Sinking down through the buttocks, lifting tall through the crown of the head. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands together at the heart. Inhale the heart up to the hands. Exhale, shoulders relax down. Inhale deeply, breathing in from bottom to top. Take it all in and let it all go. Drop the chin to the chest. Namaste.